Hello, welcome to Wheel to Wheel TV. Today we're going to run you through how to change an inner tube. A simple enough operation you might think, but one that can save you a lot of time if you're out in horrendous weather or if you're participating in a sporty or similar thing. It's a very, very simple thing, but if you follow this technique you'll find it's a much, much quicker way of actually changing your inner tube and getting yourself on the road much quicker. So, what do you need to change an inner tube? Well, it's simple. I'd highly recommend 3 of these. These are tyre levers. A lot of people have a mythical vision that you should take the tyre off without using these. With the new type of high pressure tyres it really isn't possible. Get yourself a really good quality set. You will need a new inner tube, replacement inner tube, and I would suggest you carried at least 2 of these with you at all times. Pre-check them before you put them in your bag. Pump them up, leave them overnight. Make sure they're not punctured themselves before you go out. We've already done this one. You will need a pump. Obviously, if you're out on your bike, then whichever type of pump you use, a CO2 inflator or a small framed bike pump. If you've got a workshop or a garage, I would heartily recommend you get one of these. It's a track pump or a workshop pump. It will pump up your tyres to 100, 110 psi with very, very little effort on your part, and it will do it thousands of times in a row. So, if you've checked out some of our other Wheel to Wheel TV videos, you'll know that we've already shown you how to take your rear wheel out of the bike, particularly if it's quick release. So we have said wheel here. Now, it's got a slow puncture, which means it goes down over a period of time as opposed to a blowout puncture, which obviously goes down immediately. So, what we do, we let the remaining air out. Let all the air out. Push the valve up into the body of the tyre. Place one tyre lever at a central point opposite the valve. Over, hook on a spoke. Second one, the same, hook on a spoke. The key here to taking tyres off is to put the tyre levers fairly close together. Okay. By the time you put the third one in, the tyre will be getting tight. However, what we've done here, you see, is by putting the third one in, it's got enough of the tyre over the rim that it's easy to just move the tyre lever around the rim, releasing the rest of the tyre. Be careful past the valve. And there we go. So now our tyre is released. It's now a simple matter of pulling the tube out. At this stage here, pull it out to the valve. Lift the tyre, and you can just take the tube out like so. Now, one thing I would heartily recommend you do, depending where you are, is very gingerly run your fingers around the inside of the tyre, like this. Okay? Now, the reason for doing this is if you've got any sharp objects or glass or anything similar, you should feel it. If it's caused a puncture, you should feel it on the inside of the tube. And I say gingerly because if it's a particularly sharp thorn, if you do it too fast, it will stick into your finger and will chop the top of your fingers. So just gingerly run 2 fingers around the inside of the tube, around the inside of the tyre. Once you've done that, if you can't find anything, actually examine the tyre. You will see cuts and abrasions, and you may even see debris or small parts that are actually still stuck in the tyre. Now, it's obviously critical at this stage that you remove anything sharp that is in the tyre, whether it be a piece of glass or a thorn, whatever has caused the problem. Otherwise, as soon as you put the new tube in, it will just puncture again. So, if you've done that, that's fine. If you've got time, it's worth re-inflating your tube to see where the hole is. And you can sometimes locate where it is on the tyre by offering the tube up to the valve and seeing where the hole is on your tube, and that would indicate where your problem is on the tyre. There are many occasions where whatever's caused your puncture goes in, causes the puncture, and pops straight out again. So don't be too alarmed if you can't immediately find anything within the tube. Okay, so we're now going to replace that. We're going to put a new tube in there. So we have our new tube and we've partially inflated it. So, take the trap pump, push on the valve, 1 or 2 pumps, hardly any pressure. It's really just to get the shape. Don't pump it up too hard because it will not fit inside. There we go. Pop it in the valve, pop the tyre over, and then it's very simple. Feed the tube into the tyre. It's easy to do this with your thumbs. And if you haven't overinflated it, it should sit just nicely. Now what to do? If you see here that the tube is sitting outside the rim, we need to get it to sit into the rim. So work your way round. Don't put the tyre over into the rim. All we're doing here is just putting the tube, just popping the tube over into the rim to make life easier. Okay, at this stage you deflate a small part. Okay. Flip the tyre over into the rim. Once you've got about 1/3 of the wheel done, take the valve and push it up into the tyre. This means that it doesn't get sandwiched between the tyre and the rim. Then all we do is work our way round, turn the wheel. Now if you can do this part without using tyre levers, it's a great help. And you can see I've actually popped that on without using tyre levers. Some tyres it is practically impossible to actually get that part done without tyre levers. So do use them, but do use them gingerly. Please don't use spoons, bits of wood, or anything other than a plastic tyre lever. And then simply attach your pump and reinflate to the appropriate pressure.